Hello. Welcome back to Fallout 76. Yes, she's back. It's lovely Minerva, of course. She'll be setting up shop at Foundation, just to the right of the bridge after you fast travel there. Right where I'm shooting at. And this is what she's got on the menu this time around. She'll be there from the 5th of August to the 7th of August, midday US Eastern Time. We'll briefly talk about which items you should get from the sale. But of course, keep in mind that these are not complete reviews. They're simply there to give you an idea of what you might be buying. If you favor power armor, then the T65 is one of the better items on sale. It's got very high resistances to ballistic and energy damage. It looks really good too, especially if you pair it up with the presidential paint that you got from an all-season reward. Basically, it works just like all power armors. You get into one and just kick ass. But one thing to keep in mind is that power armor helmets actually have protection, so make sure you also buy the plan for the helmet. It's best used with the power user perk to reduce fusion core usage, and stabilized to give you heavy weapons an inherent armor piercing effect. Power armor is especially good with something like a flamer or the cremator, but any heavy weapon benefits from the armor. The T65 is a good set, and there's nothing wrong with getting it, but personally I recommend the Union because it gives you better bonuses. But from a pure numbers perspective, the T65 is still a very good set. If you got the Plasma Caster from the last few sales, this is your chance to get the best mods for it. I'm talking about the Alliance Sniper Barrel and the Calibrated Capacitor. The barrel increases your range and accuracy, and reduces your VATS cost, while the capacitor gives you a 100% damage bonus to VATS criticals. Pair them up with the Critical Savvy and Better Criticals perks, and you'll see why it's so effective. Like I've said before, the caster is one of the best weapons in the game as long as you're using it in VATS, so it goes really well with that low health commando character. And skip the Pulse Capacitor. The Crusader Pistol is one of the better pistols in the game. It does suffer from the disadvantage of being a pistol, so it's not the most optimal weapon. But Fallout 76 is not a game where you have to min-max, so it's perfectly possible to use this gun and still rip through hordes of enemies, as you can see from the footage. One of the unique aspects of the Crusader is that it can have different receivers. You need to buy them from the Vault 79 gold vendor. But you can give the weapon different elemental bonuses, plus you can rechamber it to use different ammunition like fusion cells or 5.56. That makes it very flexible, and personally I favor the cryo damage and slowdown effects you can get. It is a bit pricey to buy the plan, but you can also get it from daily ops, so you might want to wait for that. Like I said at the beginning, it's not an ideal weapon, but it is pretty handy. This one's for explosive specialists out there. It's an upgraded version of the Dynamite stick. The great thing about the bundle is that it uses the same cheap materials as the stick, just more of it. And for that, you get a bigger bang. Not only in terms of damage, but in terms of explosion radius. If you compare the bundle to different common throwables, you'll see that it's one of the more effective ones. Plasma grenades, and obviously nuclear grenades are better, but the bundle is a cheaper option if you want to spam grenades. There's two types of chairs available this time around. Both are chairs made out of creatures. And no, the gorilla might be thick, but it's not fully anatomically correct. Don't ask me why I bothered to check for that. You can't see it until you install it, but the ghoul is still alive and kicking. Or biting if you want to be more accurate. But if you look closely, it looks like the teeth have been pulled out and the eyes sewn shut. So if you think about it, the ghoul chair is pretty dark. Luckily we never leaned back far enough to get headbutted, although it looks like we get a nice back massage. This is a light fixture that attaches to ceilings and matches what you find in the asylum. Of course you need to provide area power to actually get it to light up, and it's possible to switch it off. It's a bit expensive just for a different looking light, so recommend getting it from Daily Ops unless you absolutely must have this type of light fixture. It's a stash box, just skinned to look like a muty gore bag. It works exactly like any other stash box. The plant also drops from Daily Ops, so unless you're going for a particular look for your camp or shelter, you should get it from Ops instead of spending gold. Anyway, hopefully you'll be able to get what you need from this sale. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. See you soon.